Today I'm going to break down how you can yield farm for cryptocurrency passive income, basically earning income on your already existing crypto assets. So we're going to be going start to finish on exactly how you can open up your first yield farm and start earning passive income on your cryptocurrency. So the first thing you want to do is identify those assets that you want to yield farm for. So what I'd first start and do is go over to CoinGecko and scroll through, find assets that I truly believe in and understand. I would conduct my own due diligence, and you probably most likely already have multiple cryptocurrency assets in your wallet. But if you don't, looking on CoinGecko is a great place to start. One token that here at Builder Wealth we're pretty bullish on is Overnight Finance Token, otherwise known as OVN. So if we are to zoom out towards the past 3 months, we can see it did have a decline. It started at $53.69 and now it's at $46.25. But if you go to the 1 year, you can see that it's up all the way from $20. So it almost more than doubled. It even peaked at an all-time high of nearly $100 on April 10th, and now it is about half that. It peaked in April at an all-time high of nearly $100. Now this is not a bad thing considering that the overall crypto market has not been the best over the past couple months. Let's go to the past 3 month chart. See, it's had a downturn all the way. Ethereum was at 3.8k and now Ethereum is at 2.4k. Look at this, past 24 hours, Ethereum has not done the best, but it is possible that the market is going to go up and that altcoins are going to slowly recover. So it's possible to get in at a very good price on certain specific assets. So this is not me going and telling you to throw all your money in this overnight finance token. I'm just telling you here at Builder Wealth what coins we're bullish on, because you most definitely should not just go ahead and throw your money into any coin we talk about. We're not financial advisors. You should do your own due diligence. But after I've identified the assets that I want to invest into, I'm going to go over to DeFiLlama.com and go to the yield section right here. So over here we can go ahead and type in OVN and we can go and look for different liquidity pools and yield farms that include OVN token in them. So here we go. So you can see that some of these have a very high APY, like here. Obviously we're gonna have to dive deeper into these to make sure that they're really legit and see kind of what risk we're taking on. But for the most part, it's definitely possible to get a pretty high return on OVN token. We can also head over to a website called vfat.io, so vfat.io, and then we can go over to the yield section, and once we're here we can go ahead and search for OVN like so. So this is going to show us OVN positions over here. You can see we have OVN to USD Plus on Aerodrome and Aerodrome to OVN, and then we have a couple positions over on PancakeSwap as well. But I would be careful of these bottom two because the TVL is pretty low. So you can see that the OVN to USD Plus position has 160% APR and the Aero to OVN position has almost 39% APR. The best part is you can see this APY over here, and it's a substantially higher number than the APR. So basically this is what would happen if we were to automatically compound our position. So we can keep these in mind, but the first thing I'm going to do is cross-analyze the things I'm seeing on vfat.io and the things I'm seeing on DeFi Llama. Because on vfat, I only see 2 opportunities that have APR and APY, but on DeFi Llama, it seems like I have much more. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. I put out lots of cryptocurrency videos and I would love more people to find me. So first thing I'm going to do is open up these different platforms. You can see we have Aerodrome, Extra Finance, and Beefy. So first I'm going to Aerodrome Finance. Now I'm going to Liquidity. It's going to load. So now I'm going to go ahead and search for OVN, and it's going to show me different liquidity pools. And just like we saw over on VFAT, we have OVN to USD Plus. This one's saying 163% APR. So it's pretty similar. And remember that other APY is if we were to actually compound the position. And then down at the bottom, we also have the Aero to OVN position. Me personally, I'm not too interested in the Aero to OVN. I'd be more interested in the OVN to USD Plus. And you can see that the OVN to USD Plus has a much higher volume. Look, the bottom one has almost 50,000 and the top one has over 5 million. Now the next thing we have to do is identify what exactly USD Plus is. Now I already know what USD Plus is, but I'm going to explain it for you guys. So we would normally go to CoinGecko, type in the asset, and it would explain it. So USD Plus right here. Well, USD Plus is actually the stablecoin in the overnight finance ecosystem, and it's backed by other stablecoin cryptocurrencies like USDC, USD DAI, and other blue chip stablecoins. But instead of just holding those stablecoins, they're taking them and throwing them into yield bearing positions, and these positions are earning them income. So this means holding USD Plus, you'd get a daily APY of, it varies. See here it shows 1.28, but on the average USD Plus APY it varies a lot. See, this day it had 21.76%, then it went down to 0.02%, then it went up to 15.5%. So do your own due diligence. You can change the chart here to see how it was. Here it looks like it had a pretty strong time, and this is because they have stable coins deployed into multiple positions, as you can see here. So obviously, assuming that you're okay taking on exposure to OVN token as well as USD Plus, then this definitely could be a liquidity pool that you'd want to consider. But we need to see the best options for deploying into this liquidity pool, because not only can we deploy into this Aerodrome liquidity pool, but we could go ahead and deploy into the same liquidity pool OVN to USD Plus over on Extra Finance. So this would be under the farm section where we could basically take on leverage. Or we could go over to Beefy Finance and deploy into the same pool. And on Beefy Finance, it would automatically compound for us. Or we could go ahead and deploy into it over on VFAT, where it could also automatically compound for us. So first, let's look at Extra Finance. This APY is very high. It's showing from 395% to 1,131%. So this is obviously absolutely crazy. And keep in mind, this is APY, not APR. So this is assuming that you left it in for 1 year and everything compounded and the yield were to stay the same. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over to this OVN to USD Plus position and hit farm. So from here, we can decide the assets we're going to deposit. So let's just say we want to deposit 1,000 USD Plus. We can type that in. So then we could go over to this leverage section and we can start to leverage up on OVN to USD Plus. So I have a couple options here. I could change my leverage, basically the amount of leverage I want to use on this position. And then I could also change the assets that I want to borrow. So here's the thing. If I were to go ahead and adjust this to borrow OVN, because maybe I want to short my OVN exposure. So let's say I were to do 2x leverage over on this position right here. You can see I have 0 OVN exposure and I only have USD Plus. Basically, this would mean that I'm market neutral at the time of entering. But I can't actually execute on the strategy because if you go down here, the utilization on the strategy is completely filled. So if we were to go ahead and take a look at USD Plus, once again, the utilization is full. So we can't go ahead and leverage up on this position right now because there's not enough people lending their assets over on the lending part over here for the borrowers or the people in the farm section to actually borrow. So what does that mean? That means we have to go ahead and close out Extra Finance because it's just not going to work. So the next one I'm going to be taking a look at is Beefy Finance. Let's go ahead and pull up that pool. All right, so I went to Aerodrome OVN USD Plus. Here it is. This is showing a 330% APY. So the next thing I want to look at is the APY over time. I'm going to look at the 1 month graph down here. So as you can see, it doesn't seem like it was too consistent. It was up here, then down, and then back up. Now keep in mind, this is all determined by the underlying APR of the position on Aerodrome OVN to USD Plus. But I'm seeing a 400% APY over on VFAT. And I've heard online that many people have been deploying into VFAT, so this definitely might be something that I'd want to consider. Now here's the thing. I could deploy a portion of my portfolio into VFAT and then a portion of my portfolio into Beefy Finance. So the reason why I'd possibly want to do that is to see which one's going to be better and then deploy into the better one. And then I'd be reallocating the full amount of capital. So the next thing I want to do is make sure there are no other positions I'm missing out on here. So obviously we took a look at this Aerodrome platform. We went on Extra Finance. We also went on Beefy. And these other ones don't even have 500,000 TVL. Look, these are all 7 million plus and these aren't even 200,000. So I'm not even going to take a look at these. Harvest Finance though does have a very high APY and base APY, but because of the TVL, I'd probably not want to deploy into that. So the next thing I'm going to do is head over to the actual pool over on Aerodrome. I'm going to click right here. So it popped open the yield section where I'm able to see the yield over time. So what we really want to pay attention to is to the OVN USD Plus APY over time. And as you can see, it has some pretty large fluctuations. Here, look, it was at like 160, then up here it was at 275, and there's huge spikes, 858%. This spike is 890%, and then it goes back down, hitting this 130%, this 147%, and now it looks like it is at the end about 160%. And look, as the TVL increases, the APY declines. It happened here and over here. And the reason why is because as the TVL increases, there's more people in the pool, but there's the same amount of capital. And that capital is supposed to be split among the same people and the same dollars. Now, something I want to mention about OVN token, and this goes for all cryptocurrencies out there, is that it's actually somewhat inflationary. And when I say inflationary, it does have a total supply of roughly 1 million tokens, and that's fixed basically. But still, a portion of the supply, 33.5%, has been reserved for the team and pre-seed investors. And those tokens are vested over 30 months. So this means that slowly more and more tokens are going to be put into circulation, which means that the team and the pre-seed investors can sell off those tokens if they'd like to. So I'm not saying that they are going to, but of course teams have to operate, investors have to make money, otherwise they're not going to invest or build projects. And ultimately when people start selling cryptocurrencies, that's when the price starts to go down. And if we were to look at overnight token over the past 3 months, we can see that there's some large dips that go from, look, $44 all the way down to 31, and then here it's at 48 all the way down to 34. These large dips could be pre-seed investors or even early investors just selling off their tokens. And the thing is, that can happen no matter what you're invested into. And of course, if you were to hold your money in just the US bank, then of course inflation is going to hit as always. And this is exactly why yield farming with your cryptocurrency assets can be good. And if you're not yield farming with your cryptocurrency assets, then what can end up happening? Then you're just holding them, and if they eventually start to fall down in price, then you might not be able to recover your capital because they put more tokens in circulation, which makes it harder for them to get to all-time highs again. A prime example of this is going to be Solana token. Let's go ahead and pull it up right here. If we were to go ahead and look at the max chart of Solana token, we can see it peaked over here in 2021 at like $250, maybe a bit more. But what if I told you Solana's all-time high is actually over here at about $200? You'd probably say that I'm wrong, but if we go ahead and take a look at the market cap right here, you can see that it was actually higher over here when the price was about $200. Remember, the market cap represents the total amount of money that's invested into Solana. So obviously it doesn't look like it hit an all-time high recently, but in reality it actually did. And you can also see that by seeing that the max supply of Solana token is infinite. Now that's not to say Solana is a bad token or it's unsustainable, it's just something to keep in mind. And with yield farming with Solana token, if you were to invest at that $250, if Solana were to go to $200, then obviously your principal assets wouldn't go to their initial value. But if you're yield farming and continually building up your position, then yes, you can come out to an overall profit. And guys, I went ahead and put together a guide that teaches you exactly what liquidity mining is. I'm gonna leave that link down below. All you gotta do is type in your email and then you'll have access to it. It tells you a bit more about myself, but also how you can get started in liquidity mining. So remember, subscribe with post notifications on, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.